On Sunday, we are going to be unveiling 5v5, the new Vainglory game type. Cannot wait to see the action coming on in. But let's get on into the draft here, right?
That's exactly what I was expecting. The Lyra, the Chinwalker, and then the Arden pick for Kiana Noah. It's all about the captain heroes. And then the Koshka first pick for Tribe. They're so comfortable with that pick and confident in that T-Target's being able to carry with it.
Yeah, it's like a redo of Worlds last year. Koshka was so priority pick for a lot of the aggressive teams. And Alpha is going to be taken off the table. They potentially could see as a counter to Koshka, especially in the mid to late game.
I think it's more actually for the early game. Throughout all the games we've seen, Alpha thus far at Worlds, she has had pretty strong control early game, or at least the strongest performances in the early game, and then faded off towards the mid to late game. So I think they really want to just get the Alpha off the board because they are focusing on winning the early game, taking control of the jungle away from Dark Potato, and that has been the key to success against G2, is if you can put Dark Potato behind, so much of what they do relies on Hundor, but all of that is built out of the jungle with Dark Potato.
And at this point, G2 can either make a choice of banning another captain hero, limiting the Tribe picks, or going for the carry picks, the Sky Weapon Power. The reason why they went and banned it is because Tribe, when played it yesterday, combined with the Koshka, that is a very, very aggressive early game composition that G2 just don't want to deal with.
So now Tribe can secure Vox here, and then last pick the Grace, which is actually a very strong early game composition coming into G2. So now Vox is still open, so Vox will be a very good pick for G2 because Vox actually is very good against Grace because of his Sonic Zoom, his mobility. He can dance around the stun that she has with her B ability.
The difficulty, if they do go for Vox, though, is that Koshka can chase down Vox very easily. She can stick onto him, and his mobility and maneuverability is suddenly massively diminished because of just how much Koshka brings to the table, especially, again, if T-Tigers gets an early lead.
The thing that Dark Potato plays really well is the Cruel, and it's something that also can work against the Koshka. You're able to hold off against her throughout the early game because your dueling potential is so high. So G2 could go for it, and if they do that, they can combine it with something like the Celeste. Instead, they're going to go for the Baptiste.
Yeah, Baptiste Vox looks really solid here for G2. Blackfeather is still open, so we could see potentially Blackfeather on the side of Tribe as a weapon power laner, but I think they'll probably go for potentially Kestrel, honestly. So I think for this pick, Vox would make the most sense, or even Kestrel. Hundor plays a pretty solid Kestrel as well.
His Vox yesterday was phenomenal, Hundor's. I mean, when they played it yesterday, his positioning, this guy makes sure he's always outputting the highest amounts of DPS that he potentially can in a team fight while also staying safe just enough.
Yeah, the biggest concern I would have with the Vox would be the fact that it takes a while to ramp up. So I like this Rona pick going into the Koshka because she's going to be in melee with you. The concern then becomes the Grace. If Holy Novas connect onto Rona and interrupt a red mist, all of a sudden Rona becomes a sitting duck.
Yeah, out of all the lane carries, Rona had the highest win percentage rate at actually 66%. Actually, Sky had the highest, but Rona had the second highest. So Rona is looking pretty strong in this meta. Vox looks like a decent option for Tribe right now because he can dance around the Rona and avoid her ultimate. So let's see if Tribe's going to settle with this Vox here or surprise us with a different pick.
Yeah, Vox could definitely work for Tribe just because of the fact that they have, Rona wants to ramp up and wants to build up during a fight. So picking up something that can also ramp up and build over the duration of a fight can go toe-to-toe with her.
Wouldn't be surprised if Vox gets out here. For the record, the highest win rate that we have in the competition is Ryan with a 100% win rate so far. At least so does the sheet. But Tribe, I mean, with this last pick, they can either go for the Vox or play with something like the Baron. DNZO's played it in the past. They're going to go for it. And it's the idea here is instead of fighting in close range against the Rona, you use the long range that Baron does bring and try to kite away against the triple melee.
The difficulty is going to be, however, that Rona is so durable. This composition that Tribe has is very burst focused, and if you do not burst this Rona down quickly enough, she is going to stack up and become impossible to kill.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. G2 has a solid comp. That's actually a comp that China plays a lot, and even EA Detonation as well. Rona, Arden, Gauntlet with the Baptiste Ordine, that's a lot of CC in an Echo Gauntlet. Baron won't be able to get out.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can get onto that Baron, they can cause some devastation for the likes of Tribe. Now, this is North America going up against Europe. This is the first game in our quarterfinals here at the World Championship. I want to know who you guys are favoring. I want to know who you think has an advantage in this one, not just from the draft, but in general. Coming on into this one, Iraqi Zoro, we'll start with you.
I'm going to have to go with G2 just because I have so much hope in them. Even though I think Tribe is overall the better team, I feel like G2 with that Rona pick, with the Baptiste, going to be able to play very aggressive and take it out.
I'm actually going to go with Tribe because I do remember now back in the spring season, Baron Koshka was a devastating force. It had about a 90% win rate when it was played in the spring season. The early game pressure, you think of Baron as a late game hero, but the early game pressure that comes out when you get the Koshka there, you can find kills early and accelerate his late game so quickly.
Yeah, I think the drafts are pretty even, but I'm going to go with Tribe because of Koshka and Grace. Max on Grace is phenomenal, and that's where I'm making my bet.
We'll have to see whether they are going to be taking this one. Now, this is going to be a best-of-5 series between these two teams. It's about time that we kick this off. It's about time we get into our quarterfinal. So I'm going to pass it up to our casters and get on into quarterfinal number 1.
Thank you very much, Munchables. I'm Action Jackson here with Dowsey, and we've got a great game coming up, a great match coming up. It's going to be Tribe and G2 in the quarterfinals. Europe versus North America. This is one of the El Clasicos, man. I'm excited to cast it.
El Clasico, EU versus NA. Technically, you could call it a rematch of the G2 versus Immortals matchup back in spring of the Western Unified Live Championships. I'm sure Zio would consider it a rematch for sure, where G2 became the first European team to take down a North American one. We'll have to see what can happen here on the world stage when there's just so much to play for. EU looking to, or G2 looking to make EU proud.
They are indeed. We're on to the Halcyon Fold, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this one rolling. It's going to be an exciting game. Zio's got a bone to pick. He was on that first team to lose to Europe. Is it going to be a repeat here? Tribe certainly doesn't want that to happen. Let's talk about the compositions a little bit, Dowsey. We were sitting up here trying to predict what might be coming out. And both of us were really into this Baron pick out of Tribe.
Yeah, so Baron, when paired with Koshka, Tasty Bacon, tasted on it a little bit. Before we do this, look at Kianako here. This is such a cheeky little strategy here. He's pulled the wave of G2 into the turret. So this wave of Tribe is now going to hard push into the turret of Hundor, making Hundor's lane very safe. That's just a really cheeky strategy. Backscreen noticed it. It wasn't a full execution of this wave manipulation, but now that if Tribe want to go invade as a 3, then that wave is going to push into Hundor, and that's going to make Dienzio lose CS. So we see Dienzio has to go back into lane. That's early aggression from G2. Well, actually a neglection of their aggression. They've basically cut down the aggression that this Koshka can call out. G2 are pulling out some really amazing strategies right now. Their understanding of the 2.10 meta and rotation meta as well is pretty high class. It's something that many people didn't expect coming out of Europe recently. We'll have to see against Tribe, the dark horses of this tournament, the dream team put together mid-season to take down Team Solomid to prove that they can take a world championship. Tribe and Zio with Max Green trying to do it all. We'll have to see how they can do it in this quarterfinal.
Absolutely. Tribe right now are certainly trying to be proactive, though, trying to ignore the fact that G2's had that really smart start and try to slow them down a little bit by rotating as a group, looking for Elder Treants. They're finding revenue streams where they can on the map. Yeah,
the minion candy coming out of Max Green there, really big because it kind of says, oh, you want to push the wave into your turret? Here, have a huge wave. That ties Hundor up in the lane. You can see that T-Tigers is just moving in, stealing away jungle.
This is a little bit dicey. Max Green is thinking about going in with the team here. Dark Potato falling quite low. Dienzio is doing a good amount of damage already. It's just that single weapon blade forces G2 Esports back. Unfortunately, though, Tribe was not really able to find much in the way of jungle camps off the back of that play. It was mostly pressure designed to keep Hundor, I guess, away from that lane.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a look at the CS in the lane. It is 19-12, but there is a massive stacked up wave that Dienzio is about to catch and consume for himself. So that'll put the CS differential back towards even, and this Baron will continue his scaling efforts into the late game. The composition drafted from G2 here, very good at all-out aggression, but they have to weather a storm against a Koshka and a Baron in the late game.
Tribe able to take away that Elder Treant. We've got Dienzio rotating down here as well. This could be an opportunity for them to try and find some picks. Hundor is quite low, needing to use that Enter the Fray to get on out of there. Dienzio still wants a little bit more. Doesn't have jump jets though, right? Oh, he does.
Just came back up, and the damage they've outputted here basically means that Dark Potato can't secure his jungle.
Oh. Dark Potato's got to be careful. Keanu nearly going down, just barely able to get onto that turret. It's very difficult for G2 Esports to contest what Tribe is doing here in the early game.
Yeah, really difficult, and especially considering Dienzio is actually very comfortable giving up CS to do so. If at least for G2, they've kind of got that silver lining that Hundor is going to be scaling alongside the Baron at equal pace, but in this jungle, T-Tigers on his signature Kostra pick is just dominating with the support of Max Green and Dienzio here. And G2 are attempting to match the aggression and match the play coming out of Tribe here, but unfortunately they cannot do so quite to the same level with Grace Koshko. It's just such a strong combination.
Had they found that Elder Treant, maybe G2 could have been keeping pace, although hang on a second, Dark Potato needs to get back up to the lane. He's caught out a little bit. Dienzio tries to rotate in. He might swap target though as Keanu gets knocked up by that Holy Nova. T-Tigers was a little too low for the commitment out of Tribe. However, they find that forward Treant. The aggression from Tribe keeps on coming.
And the level difference is crazy here. Yes, they secure their Treant. Yes, they could have like re-engaged because the Crystal Sentry was there. But it's a 2-level differential between T-Tigers and Dark Potato right now. That is craziness. They have choked so much gold, so much experience off G2 here. Dark Potato, often criticized as being one of the members of G2 that potentially holds them back. His hero pool has been considered weak, and that it's all about Hundor, and he hyper carrying, put the team in the backpack. I feel like that's a very unfair representation of Dark Potato, but clearly Tribe have recognized that if you can shut down this jungle, then you are hurting the team. And when you have someone such as T-Tigers, who's just such a force to be reckoned with in North America, respected so wholeheartedly on this Koshka, then you really need to consider that ban.
We do have some power spikes coming in for Tribe right now with Aftershock and Sarblade picked up. That's going to be the initiation. T-Tigers immediately trying to set up a kill off the back of those purchases, but he cannot quite do it. Dienzio unable to get and stay in range of Hundor for long enough in that fight. That being said, Tribe has done a good job of forcing some resources here. They might be able to continue sieging and make G2 have some kind of an answer. Looks like they're just going to back away and play safe, though.
Yeah, it's going to be Max Green attempting to go back and get that fountain. Purchase comes through. Kiana Nakoa also looking to combine his resources and get a fountain of his own, waiting for that trickle gold to come through. And there is fountain purchase. Very late fountains coming out from both these teams. They've spent a lot of time rather than in the lane accumulating gold, instead pressuring the jungle and trying to deny experience and gold, of course, on Dark Potato, really singling out that member. But Batiste is this hero that you can pressure quite heavily, but he's going to have impact regardless. He has a fairly cheap build in the sense that he realistically only needs 2 items to be able to have influence. That first item, Shatterglass, if you can delay it a lot for a long time, that definitely hurts the mid-game potential coming out of G2. We're at 7 minutes, and Dark Potato is still 600 gold away from a Shatterglass, which means that Tribe have successfully shut down this Batiste threat that can be so detrimental into Baron early game before he gets his weapon power to increase the jump time on jump jets, before he overdrives his jump jets. He is sitting only a bit of XP away from hitting level 8, and this Batiste still doesn't have a Shatterglass.
We do have another initiation coming in here, though. Actually, Hundor trying to counter-initiate onto Dienzio. Holy Nova knocks up 2, however. T-Tigers wants to get onto the back line. You got to be careful with Dienzio. Getting dunked on the backside is not going to be enough, though. T-Tigers finds that first blood for Tribe. He wants even more. Dark Potato, the flask is popped. He's just barely able to get on out of there. Dienzio not able to keep this one going. T-Tigers, he might have gone too far. Just barely able to get that reflex block in. Escape from the Ordained. Tribe are going to start pressuring onto this turret. G2 doesn't have a very easy answer right now. Dienzio's chunking through it. It's going to be a quick turret here for Tribe. In addition to that first blood, they are 2.3k up. Look at this. T-Tigers knew he didn't even need to stay to help with that push. He goes and takes some jungle away too. Tribe are dominating in the early game.
Dominating is an statement here. They are destroying G2 in the early game. This is something we see very often in these North America EU matchups. But G2 have been heralded as the king of the EU play style, the king at turtling out and bringing North America to their late game. So we have to see if they can do that on this very influential matchup. You know, Tigers at the moment with a 30 CS lead in the jungle is nothing to sniff at. That is crazy amounts of gold he has. And he has been testing the waters this entire 8 minutes of this game, jumping onto targets, seeing how much damage he can output.
Tigers, he's trying to do that just now, but Hundor actually wants to turn things up here. Tigers is able to walk away from that red mist. A very slow run and moving forward. Gauntlet comes across.
Wow.
That's a stun. Tigers, he needs that divine intervention, but a fear stops him from keeping the fight moving. He's going to fall. Dienzio, he's over the wall trying to get away, but Hundor wants him. That's some serious damage.
That's an ace.
An ace comes in for G2 Esports. Europe taking the first ace of the game against Tribe.
Hello, G2. Tribe underestimating the power of this all-in composition. G2 drafted. Here's the replay. Let's see how that went down. Tigers trying to get involved, runs into an Ordained, gets Fearsome Shade into a Gauntlet, and that point he was dead Areno, dead in the water. Easy cleanup for the rest of G2 because of the fact that Baron still is at a vulnerable state, and of course the Grays can't do much without her teammates around. G2 easy cleanup, managing to take that gold deficit and turn it into nothing in the matter of seconds coming out of G2, and this is the power of their composition. They want to all-in brawl, and if they can survive against the Koshka early and get those all-in brawls in the mid-game, then potentially they can get to a state where the late-game Baron power is not as difficult to deal with. In the late game. G2 have so much power in this next 5 minutes, and if they are able to find team fight after team fight that starts to kind of bridge the gap that Tribe has trying to create, and they can start getting turrets and objectives and gold into their system, then come this Kraken point, they're going to be in a good position. Gauntlets up in 2 seconds, and that is what G2 need to start a fight.
You can see them trying to make something happen right now, rotating around and flanking Tribe, but Tigers over the wall does see an opportunity. It's not going to be good, though. He runs into the Ordained, very low already. Dienzio, the new target. Tigers forced away from the fight. You can see the way this is developing. Dark Potato's got to be careful, though. Good Fearsome Shade to buy him some room. Hundor can't stick onto Dienzio. This could be the opportunity for Tribe to turn the fight back around. Hundor still looking for Dienzio. Tigers trying to find Dark Potato, not going to do it. Oh, he's back in there. He gets the kill. Hundor, he's being kited around. He can't stay on target. Keanu, nowhere to be seen. G2 Esports split up in the team fight, and Tribe takes advantage.
That is the exact word that I wanted to use, AJ. Split up massively. The target focus out of G2 was not there. Yes, you need to take down a Baron, but in that circumstances, you had a kitty cat locked on up and leashed, and you probably could have taken her out if you wanted to. Tigers was ultra aggressive, and he could have paid for it, but G2 did not execute on that and did not punish this aggression that the Koshka is continuously outputting. Another jungle rotation being stolen away by Tigers, continuing to dominate Dark Potato here in the jungle. Tigers has his Aftershock. He's got an Aegis as well, so he can duel this Batiste very early. And you can see Dark Potato has matched the builds here, but he needs to get that Clockwork online, or potentially even just go into an Echo at this point, so that he can have some utility in the jungle. And so, whilst we don't quite often see Echo in the jungle on Batiste, most junglers prefer to go Clockwork so they have damage output. Because of how far behind Dark Potato is, an argument can be made that Dark Potato now needs to fulfill the role as a second captain, go into a more utility style so that they can try and shut down Tigers and Dienzio in team fights and allow Hundor to carry.
Tigers just popped a Crystal Infusion, Dienzio also a weapon one. So Tribe is aware of the fact that they might be able to win another team fight here if they force things. But with giving up that position by the shop, they are allowing for buys to come in from G2 Esports if they want to try and pick up some more items to contest. Tribe has certainly slowed down a lot in the last couple of minutes here. They're really waiting for mispositioning out of G2 rather than forcing the issue. I think that's smart, though. Around this point in the game, when things are comfortably but not exceptionally in Tribe's court, you don't want to risk giving away anything that would be a suboptimal fight for Tribe. Kraken spawning pretty soon.
And Max Green's just picked up an Echo as well. There is no Poison Shiv for this Rona because Foe Splitter provides Mortal Wounds, but the Mortal Wounds is nowhere near as sustained as a Poison Shiv is. And so this Grace Healing can actually find a window of opportunity where the Mortal Wounds that comes out of Rona's kit doesn't actually stop up any of the healing. Infusions have been finished. G2 know that this is the time to fight, but Max Green's Power Spike could be the influential factor in an all-in brawl if Tribe were to take it.
Someone on G2 Esports needs to open up their scoreboard, see the Echo, and say, hang on a second, maybe we need something more to take this next fight in our favor. We've also got Double Tyrant's Monocle now completed for Dienzio. He's hitting quite a big power spike at this point. It's all going to be about G2 Esports controlling the landscape of the fight. In that last engagement, they let things get away from them. They split up too much. They were very separated from each other, and that's a situation that T-Tigers is quite comfortable in. He can just home in onto the back line and make an assassination attempt. It's difficult for G2 if they don't play these team fights as a unit.
There's many concerns around G2 as a roster. Their preparation for Worlds was very hard done by. Hundor had exams. He was, in fact, very late to arriving here in Singapore due to that. Of course, he made it here, and G2 yesterday showed that they are a force to reckon with, but are they on the same page about everything on this competitive stage? That's the real question. G2 certainly want to put up a big fight here. They certainly want to enter the record boards for EU. Well, they're already in them. They want to take those record books and just throw them out the window and say, hey, EU, we've got your backs. We're here to play. But now with the Kraken spawning here, AJ, these team fights just suddenly became a whole lot more intense because technically both these teams can win them, and it looks like Tribe wants to fight.
Yeah, we might be having something kick off here. T-Tigers just popped a fresh infusion. Tribe knows that this is a good window of opportunity to force things with Kraken on the board. G2 has no option but to react. Keep in mind, guys, Keanu Nakoa is sitting here at 1,300 gold, Dark Potatoes on 1,200. They need to go to the shop and buy, but Tribe are playing Gatekeeper. This is going to be the engagement, though. T-Tigers trying to make something happen. Holy Nova lands onto two people. A good gauntlet does make things a little awkward for Tribe as they try and retreat a little bit. Hundor is quite low, but he's looking for that first kill. Max Green is very, very low on the front line. It is going to be first kill of the fight to G2, but now with both of the damage dealers alive for Tribe, it's very hard for G2 to keep the ball rolling. Dienzio certainly wants more, though. Jumping forward, Keanu hasn't got the Vanguard cooldown, doesn't have Gauntlet, doesn't want to risk it. Yeah,
and actually, Tribe, if they were to continue chasing, they could have just walked into a trap laid out by Keanu Nakoa and Hundor. You do not want to get into melee range of Arona. That's when she thrives against you. A fight fairly even, really, coming out, both of these teams going even, and a fight that has allowed Keanu Nakoa to get an Echo. He has the golden inventory. All he has to do is walk over to the shop and purchase it, which we'll see him do in just a second. Echoed gauntlets coming out in the next 30 seconds will be the way that they can lock down this Baron who's been jumping out so consistently.
And I was talking about controlling the landscape of a fight. With Arden, you really have the opportunity, unlike most heroes, to shape the landscape. And with a double gauntlet coming through, it's hard for Tribe to navigate. You see another opportunity for an engagement here, perhaps, but Keanu Nakoa has yet to shop.
I think he's actually doing this purposely. He doesn't want to reveal to the fact that he will have the Echo for the next team fight. 9 seconds left on Gauntlet. Far better to wait until your Gauntlet is available before you show your cards in this game of poker. And so Keanu Nakoa will do his best to purchase the Echo secretly before using that Gauntlet. It's a risky maneuver, especially when Tribe is controlling the jungle shop like this. And realistically, Keanu Nakoa can't backport too easily. If Tribe sniffs it, they can just take away this Kraken very quickly. But the backports have been successful. Echo is now purchased, and Tribe's intuition will be ticking. They will know that this Echo is there potentially.
Ultimately, you're not just going to give up position on the map for no reason as G2 Esports. Tribe should smell that something's up, that a big item has been completed, or that G2 are doing something This is an opportunity for G2, though. If they can make this engagement initially count, it could be huge. New infusions on Tribe, though. Here comes the engage. Holy Nova blocked away. Hundor's trying to get onto the backline. Dienzio has made space. Where's that second dollar? It lands! That is huge! Dienzio, Holy Nova, trying to keep him safe. Divine Intervention, it is going to do so. G2 very close to finding the kill, but it's not quite there. Hundor needs to get back in. He finds Dienzio. It's a kill trade. T-Tigers is extremely low, but Hundor is not able to reach the backline. Max Green just defending him right now. Sentry doing a good amount of work for Tribe too. G2 Esports, they trade 1 for 1. These fights are so close, Dalsy.
And that could have gone so differently. Dark Potato had the goal to build a clockwork, but he couldn't go to the shop and finish it. There was infusions on all 3 members of Tribe. There was only infusions on Hundor there. G2 were at such a power deficit, and they went even against Tribe. That is a scary thought for the next team fight, because there isn't that much more power coming into the hands of Tribe. They've got that full build on Baron. They've got the major damage items on Koshka as well. So they need to be playing positional advantage now, because their damage isn't really changing.
This all being said, Tribe does have windows of opportunity where they can abuse this power differential even more readily. You've got a huge cooldown on things like the Echo. It's on 60 seconds right now. When I was starting to think about it, it was like 85 seconds. Tribe, if they immediately take a fight after a trade like that, the trade doesn't do anything. Then you take a fight, and there's no double gauntlet. Dienzio wouldn't have died in that last initiation if there wasn't double gauntlet. So Tribe, they need to be, I think, pretty proactive here. They can't allow G2 Esports to continue to scale.
Okay, so I've made a mistake. I now see that Dienzio hasn't finished full build. So yes, there is more power coming here from this Baron, and Dienzio will be looking to get on into that. I wonder it will be just straight out damage, or he'll go towards a tornado trigger so that he has a bit more attack speed, so that he can try and stutter his way away from this Rona. It will be a very interesting item to come out. He is currently farming the backs by himself just to try and get the gold into his system. Dark Potato now has that clockwork, has an infusion as well. Hundor with tier 3 boots, so he can dive onto this Baron and stick on top as well.
Dienzio, one item that he doesn't seem to be thinking about right now, but I wonder if maybe he should, is just a reflex block, though. I mean, you saw how devastating that double gauntlet was in the last initiation. Max Green can only keep you so safe.
Yeah, and also Bonesaw would have been a fairly impactful item due to the fact that everyone on the side of G2 is inherently tanky in the late game and going to be building armor into this Baron. So Dienzio is really just prioritizing crit here. Going to go back and purchase up that 3rd Tyrant's Monocle, just wanting to be all or nothing at this stage. We'll have to see if he can be rewarded for such an all or nothing play. To be honest, when I see something like that, it, I think, gives G2 more hope in their team fights because of the fact that it's all or nothing. That means there is a nothing involved.
Yeah, and also I think G2 has contingencies in these fights. You know, Hundor is not ever going to go down in just one combination of crit rockets. He's a little bit too durable for that, which means that G2 has a chance to respond to anything Tribe does. Speaking of responses, though, Tribe needs one right now to the Kraken attempt coming out of G2. It's going down pretty quickly. T-Tigers and Dienzio starting to make their way in, but Max Green's already come into this fight. First Gauntlet does a good amount of work, locking up Max Green. Is he even going to be able to get out of here? Dienzio's doing huge damage on the backline, though. Dark Potato just barely staying alive, and in the meantime, G2 finds themselves the Kraken. This is huge, Dalsy. Tribe have been routed. They need to get out of here. Hundor, he wants T-Tigers. He might not be able to get there, though. It is 1 kill and a Kraken to G2 Esports. A huge push incoming against Tribe.
G2 riding on a wave of momentum from Groot Sages right now. And we'll have to see where they can take it here. A Kraken taken against Tribe in the first game of this best-of-5 quarterfinal. Europe showing up here on the world stage against their North American rivals, and they're going to continue pushing into the base. It's 11 seconds on Max Green, which means this choke point turret will take a beating in the meantime. Kianako has 20 seconds on his gauntlet. He will not be able to echo it because of the huge cooldown in this next team fight. And so G2 need to make a very educated decision. Do we team fight and look for a win, or do we back off with this choke point turret and consider it a battle in this war?
I think probably at this point they just want to go in, burst down the turret, and get the heck out of Dodge. Tribe is able to go for a counter initiation if G2 overstays, and as such they are not going to. 3 turrets actually taken with that push. Massive momentum swing here in the favor of G2 Esports. They are still behind in gold, but that really doesn't tell the whole story.
Right, and let us just reiterate that G2 are the kings of this European turtle style. They so often pull North America to their game. North America wanting to close things out quickly, play ultra aggressive, get those objectives, and win within the first 16 minutes, whereas G2 are very happy scaling into the late game and relying on that big team fight. G2 was struggling in the early game with the aggression that was coming out of T-Tigers, but if any European team could weather that storm, it's the boys in black and white here, and currently these German kings of Vainglory are looking to try and take game one off of the North American superstars. It is not an easy task. Dienzio has prioritized armor over reflex blocks, something you mentioned earlier, and that is probably going to pay the biggest difference in these team fights if Dark Potato can catch him out.
Here we go. Hundor on the front line is already choked down so low, but Dienzio is the new target. He's going to be able to jump out of there. Hundor wants more, trying to stay on top of him. He's got to be so careful. He's nearly down. The red mist just barely keeping Hundor in the fight. Dark Potato, on the other hand, he's making a quick exit. Max Green and T-Tigers, they want more. Hundor, can he get out of here? Red mist is going to keep him alive, but not for long. Tribe rally and find themselves in these 24 minutes into game one of this series. That is huge. A massive push incoming for Tribe.
And Dienzio just stood there knowing full well that G2 were not damaging him. Massive catch out coming out. This fight was so perfectly executed. But, you know, after the CC was layered upon him, he jumped on out of a double gauntlet and a ordained 3 members of CC and just took down G2. The aggression coming out of G2 was not enough to take down this Baron. They're going to get a Kraken for themselves. They pushed down how many turrets? They pushed down so many turrets. There's only 2 left remaining for Tribe to take on down. No, 3 turrets! They've taken down one of the Vein Crystal turrets. There is only 1 Vein Crystal turret left here for Tribe to take down and a Kraken to do it. This next team fight is an all-or-nothing gambit for G2 if they want to stay in this game.
They really need to make a play here. Otherwise, there is no way G2 can possibly defend with only 1 turret left alive. Where's Dienzio right now? He's on the bottom side trying to deal with the sentry, just buying himself a little bit more time to maybe go in around the flank here. You got to keep in mind that if Dienzio jumps over that wall, the split focus that G2 might have to use could be their downfall.
Yep.
Max Green's just trying to play interrupt right now, trying to stop G2 from focusing down the Kraken, which they're doing quite a poor job of right now. It's still very healthy with only this 1 turret left. Here comes a gauntlet. G2, they're pulling the trigger. They know they got to do something right here, right now. Hundor's looking for Max Green. Where is Dienzio? Still on the other side of the wall, but he's coming in and he's looking for glory right now. Going for the Vein Crystal. The damage is there. Tribe take game 1.
What intelligent play coming out of Dienzio there in the last moment. Denying G2 any team fight potential onto this Baron as soon as the objective